podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.
Blueberry.
This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
The Big G. Tokyo Town. StompDown.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's another day here on the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown. I'm Kim Brown.
I'm TC Kirkham. The 31 Days of Godzilla continues, courtesy of Subject Cinema, eCinemaOne.com, and Kim's Patreon show, Kaiju Corner. If you don't listen to it now, she's got 3 episodes up and more coming. And you need to be a $5 or more member at $5 per month to get it, and a couple of other podcasts and all kinds of cool other perks. So please go over there and check it out. Yeah. Patreon.com/PNRNetworks. When you do that, not only are you getting free perks and great shows, you're supporting all of the PNR Networks family, including all of our shows, as well as Cavebabble from the Lions and Anthony Lamberti's various video projects.
Yes.
So please, come aboard. Patreon.com/PNR Networks. It is May 14th, 2019, and we are doing this in tribute, of course, to Legendary's upcoming Godzilla King of the Monsters, which comes out on May 31st. She is sweet again.
I am seriously excited about this movie.
We are up to the 14th film in the Godzilla series. This is coming in, and now we're getting into the mid-70s, but late in the first group of Godzilla's movies, which were produced during what they call the Showa period, which were during the reign of Emperor Hirohito. Is that what we said? So there's 2 more of those to do, today and tomorrow, and then we're going to skip a few years as we go into the next series. Today, though, from 1974, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, known in the States as Godzilla vs. the Cosmic Monster, and briefly, for about a week or 2, known as Godzilla vs. the Bionic Monster, but Universal didn't like that and threatened to sue them. Because Universal owns $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, et al. So,
because this was a time, now I realize for some of you guys, this is something in the mists of the past, but you have
or in the never have been born yet.
Or in the never have been born yet, yeah. There was a point in America and in the world, but mostly America, in the mid 70s where people went bionic bananas. It would, bionic this, bionic that, bionic the other.
Well, we had 2 series, $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman. There was a pilot called The Bionic Boy that never sold, and then there was. Later on in the 80s, they tried it again with the same people, Lee Majors and Lindsay Wagner, 3 different TV movies, none of which sold as a series. And then they had the revival of The Bionic Woman in the 2000s, which was a completely different show with different people and didn't last very long on NBC.
No, but this film, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, is one film that is... It takes a different tact on the whole Godzilla mythos. Now, up till this point...
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like this film.
Well,
a lot of people involved with the Godzilla movies didn't care for this film. Let's put it that way. The fans, I don't know, weren't that unhappy with it. But
the fans aren't terribly unhappy with it, but again, it's one of these kind of, it's one of these kind of you love it or you hate it kind of things. Again, it's taking something from the other films, the previous films that, with, aliens. It's always aliens.
Aliens, again. Japanese was fascinated with aliens, weren't they?
The Japanese films of this time were especially fascinated with hostile aliens, apparently.
Well, there were good aliens in the hostile alien movies, though.
Sometimes.
Well, no. Prince of Space, Space Chief, Starman, Ultraman.
Out of all of those people, I only think Starman was an actual alien. I think everybody else was human, but I might be wrong about that.
I don't know.
I might be wrong. I don't know. When we're only going by the English.
Well, then why was he called Prince of Space?
because he did all the stuff that he did in space.
Yeah,
for
but
the
they
most
said they were
part.
detecting his different body metrics.
Well,
from
I don't know.
Humans.
I don't know. Like I
Okay,
said,
anyway.
and anyway, when those films come to America, they're so dubbed and everything's changed around. You might wind up with a completely different film.
Yeah, Beaver Falls.
Like we get later on in the Godzilla franchise, actually, ironically enough, with the return of Godzilla, which came to this
you're getting
country
ahead of things.
under a
We'll talk
different
about
name,
that on
and we'll get to that later.
Thursday.
Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla is dealing with the whole idea that all of a sudden, Godzilla's going on another one of his rampages, and including the fact that Godzilla and Anguirus wind up getting in a big punch up.
Oop!
And everybody's
What? They're not drinking buddies anymore.
well, see,
they're not
that's
going
the
out
thing.
and bar hopping anymore.
Everybody's like, "Hey, wait a minute! Godzilla and Anguirus are buddies," But as it turns out, it's not actually Godzilla, not the real Godzilla. This is a
dun dun dun.
This is a giant robot that has been constructed by the aliens to wreak terror on the Earth, and they disguised him as Godzilla
terror. Reek.
Yeah, I still
Sound
don't-
effects.
I don't know entirely why, but I'm like, so you're framing Godzilla because you think he cares about this? I guess. I don't know. It's aliens, man. That's all I got to say. The thing is, like I mentioned, these aliens have built this giant robot that they put this skin over to look like Godzilla, and then eventually the skin is ripped away, and oh, it's a robot! Gasp! And the real Godzilla, who's like, wait, I didn't do any of this. What the hell? Winds up fighting himself, which of course is really confusing at first. Like Godzilla's like, the hell?
It's the Evil Twin movie. Ah!
Kind of, without the Spock goatee.
Where's David Canary?
I like mine better.
Yeah.
All my children joke, for those of you who don't remember. But the thing that I find really interesting is there's one monster that is in this film that I don't know if they ever brought him back.
No, I don't think they did. His name was King Caesar.
Yes, if I remember correctly,
Caesar?
King Caesar. Actually, I think it was pronounced King Caesar.
Ah.
I don't remember exactly because I did see this.
Didn't he move to Las Vegas after this was over?
No. And no, he didn't invent a specific kind of salad before you decide to go there.
Well, that would be silly. I know that guy. I know who that guy was. Somebody had to build a palace. Okay, anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
And King Caesar is one of these guardian monsters. This is the whole idea that there were these monsters that were never, their thing was never, I'm going to smash stuff and all this stuff like that. They were just actually guardian monsters, and they were there for people. And when the people were in trouble, when the people were in danger, they would usually have the priest or somebody pray to the monster, and the monster would come and save them. Of course, this has all vanished into, legend became myth, and myth became,
Thank you, Gandalf. Anyway.
That was Galadriel.
Oh, that was Galadriel.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm
Anyway.
sorry. I'm not as ethereal and wispy. I'm sorry.
Oh, by the White Tree of Gondor, will you just keep going with this?
Oh, okay. I do it and you
Now,
get
see
mad.
how silly it sounds?
It doesn't sound silly when I do it.
Yes, it does. Anyway.
Well, you won't let me say the things I usually say because you're always going, family show!
Family show.
And language!
Language.
Yeah, see?
Even Cap swore in Endgame.
Yeah, I know!
So anyway.
So there! And that was kind of hot.
I wanted to see the F-bomb. We didn't get it.
No, we
Anyway.
didn't no, I would have just had to leave.
You would have exploded. Anyway. Back to Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Sorry about that, folks.
You notice I'm not denying that, but
Can
anyway.
I ask another question?
Go for it.
I know I'm getting ahead here, but you're
That's
talking
all right.
about the aliens.
Right.
What is it with the Japanese filmmakers that can't seem to find one planet name? There are always these ridiculous, descriptions, but they're not actually planets. The villains in this movie come from the third planet from the black hole. What the hell?
So it's circling the drain, I guess?
I don't know, because it's going to get sucked in sooner or later.
That's the whole point. They want to take over Earth so that everybody can move there because their planet's going to get sucked
I got
down
news
the
for
black
them.
hole.
It ain't going to take very long for a planet near a black hole to get sucked in. It's going to take, in Earth terms, really light year fast.
I remember there was an anime about that. There was an anime that was the plot of it, that the aliens world was in danger of being sucked into a black hole, and they were all like, okay, we'll just conquer Earth. The people on Earth were like, wait, what? So
that's usually the way it goes.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Earth.
Yeah. Everybody wants to come to Earth. It's like, and then they get here and they talk trash about it. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, you stupid Earthlings, blah, blah, blah. Well, you want to... It's like, you want to invade, dickweed.
Language.
All right. So we have this whole thing where, Godzilla and Mechagodzilla fight, and Godzilla gets his ass handed to him. And it's, kind of like, wait, what? What do you mean Godzilla gets beat up? And he does. He gets beaten up extremely badly. And then there's this, they fight, and then it's like, that's the problem. They're too evenly matched. I mean, this thing is a robotic duplicate of Godzilla, and then you've got the actual Godzilla, who sometimes I kind of wonder if Godzilla's like the kaiju version of the Hulk. No, I mean that. No, I'm not screwing around right now. Like, the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. It's a theory.
Okay.
It's a theory.
Yeah, it's a theory.
He's going, it's a stupid theory, Kim.
I'm not saying a word.
You don't have to. So, like I said, big fight. They both beat each other half to death. And Godzilla makes it back to Monster Island, and there's a thunderstorm going on. And for and this is another one. I think this is another reason.
Thunder with, sorry.
What?
I don't have anything I can make thunder
I
with.
think this is another reason some people have a problem with this film, because it's like, this film is another one of these. Oh wait, this is something we're going to throw into the Godzilla mythos right in the middle of the movie. It's like, wait, what? That never happened before. Because, Godzilla basically drags himself back to Monster Island, and there's a thunderstorm, and he's struck by lightning numerous times, which, for some reason, brings his strength back.
Didn't that work in King Kong versus Godzilla too?
But with Kong.
Oh, it was with Kong.
Yeah,
okay. That's so they've changed the. Okay.
I'm like, what? I'm sorry. I'm like,
hey, their universe, their movie.
I know. It's their sandbox and their toys, but I'm still like that.
At least he doesn't sparkle. Anyway,
you are not wrong. Hashtag Twilight sucks.
That was mean.
Sorry.
Godzilla Cullen. Anyway, go ahead.
Ooh, that's where Godzilla should rampage next. Forks. I would pay money to watch that movie. I'd watch that over and over again. So, we wind up...
We paid money to watch the other four.
Because we're very good
and
friends.
We own two of them.
Because we're very good friends. Of course, one of the very good friends wore a Team Winchester shirt to a Twilight movie. Guess who that was?
Yep, anyway. Sorry.
So Godzilla gets re-energized by the lightning... somehow. And the Earth people that are, trying to find out what the hell's going on, wind up getting caught by the aliens, and we find out their evil plan, which is to use Mechagodzilla to take over the Earth. I don't think we got one of those.
No, but we did now. It's an evil plan. They have to have a muhaha. Anyway.
The Japanese
KingdomMuhaha.com.
The Japanese don't really go in for muhaha as much on the big screen. The small screen.
Yes,
the small screen they do.
King Kong Lives, that Doctor Who guy was muhaha everywhere.
Okay. All right, that's
and he didn't even have a TARDIS. Anyway.
Oh gosh, you're strange. The humans wind up being forced to try and help repair Mechagodzilla from the first beatdown, but as it turns out, they managed to escape and cause all kinds of havoc and stuff like that. And at a certain point in the morning, there is a lunar eclipse, and all these signs and things are happening that coincide with a prophecy that this priestess had made earlier in the film. And they wind up going to this temple which is King Caesar's place where he's resting at the moment. And the problem is, while that's going on, the aliens have fixed Mechagodzilla to the point where they feel like they can send him out to... Why are you laughing?
Sorry. It's my mind, and I'm not... Just go on. Don't pay attention to me. I'm being silent about it.
Okay, all right. So the aliens are all like, well, he's fixed enough as it is. Let him go out there and wreck stuff some more. So they send Mechagodzilla out to wreak chaos and all that stuff like that. And the priestess performs a ceremony which involves singing this specific song that awakens King Caesar from the sleep suspended animation, I don't know what you'd call it, that he's in. And at the same time this is happening, Godzilla shows up because screenwriting.
Not much.
Serendipity, screw that, it's screenwriting. Screenwriting dippity. That's a terrible word. So King Caesar and Godzilla wind up teaming up because for a change you actually have monsters going, let's not tear each other apart right now. Let's deal with him.
And then we can tear each other apart. Yeah. The problem is that while King Caesar is this big I'm trying to think of how to say this and not come off like I'm being culturally insensitive. King Caesar looks like a tall, gigantic, humanoid version of what I believe is called a foo dog. Those dogs that you see outside, like Chinese restaurants and things. The big dogs with the kind of the dog equivalent of a Meowth that sits on
like they're like
stuff.
Guardian.
Right.
Like, I think that's what King Caesar kind of looks like to me. Also with kind of like a lion thing in there too. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's not the dumbest monster that they have in the kaiju pantheon by any stretch of the imagination, because there are some that have been worse. Gigan.
And non-Japanese kaiju.
And
Reptilicus. Anyway.
Or kaiju that show up just because you want to make a point of having him get the hell beat out of him. Zilla. Grudge? Who holds a grudge? I don't hold a grudge.
We'll get to that in a week or so. Go.
So anyway, while King Caesar is big and tough and wants to fight, and Godzilla is Godzilla and always wants to fight and has, atomic breath and is just friggin' awesome because Godzilla. You're not biased. But I'm not biased or anything. Why would you say that?
I don't know.
The problem is that Mechagodzilla is a big friggin' robot. And because he's a big friggin' robot, he's also a big friggin' robot that's armed with all kinds of missiles and bombs and, things he can shoot out of his hands that go boom and stuff like that. So this isn't
exactly... that's not fair.
Well, no, it's not fair, but he's the bad guy.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's not supposed to play fair, So it's not exactly, like I said, it's not a route. You think it might, most of the time if you're thinking that Godzilla is going to team up with another monster, you're going to be like, oh, well, this won't take long. It's actually not it's not as quick as people would like to think it was going to be. The battle ends when Godzilla, who can apparently not only be revived by electricity. Now this is where we're getting into the WTF moments, and I realize saying we're getting into the WTF moments during a kaiju movie. I know that's
during this movie in particular, from what I've heard.
Bear with me.
I've got to be honest, I have not seen this.
Bear with me. So apparently Godzilla can not only be revived by massive amounts of electricity in the form of lightning. Thank you, Thor. He can also store the electricity in his body somehow. Mm-hmm. Because reasons. And he uses the lightning that he has stored inside of himself, again, somewhere, to make this field, this magnetic bubble, shield, I don't know what you'd want to call it. And this messes the robot up because it's a robot, and it's full of magnetic, it's full of electronics and wires and things that go ping. And I'm so scientific. Tony Stark would be so proud of me. This messes up the robot. And Godzilla's like, all right, now it's my turn, and I'm pissed. And he winds up tearing the robot's head off. Mm-hmm. And that's like game over, fatality. And the aliens are all like, oh crap, what the hell do we do now? And that's the distraction that the captive humans need to break, to get out of being captured. They wind up killing the aliens and sabotage the hell out of the aliens' base. And they all escape as the base burns to the ground. So, the aliens are dead. Now there's the world's biggest paperweight lying on Japanese soil. And Godzilla and King Caesar are just kind of like, okay, I guess we're done now. And it's really kind of interesting because you can almost tell with a lot of the later movies, I think it's really interesting that whenever Godzilla winds up helping people, helping humanity, however you want to put it, there's almost this kind of, like it's finished, it's done, the dust settles, and he almost seems to always kind of wait. Mm-hmm. Like, he waits a beat to see if it's like, oh, we're safe. Godzilla, shoot, bang, bomb, and all this stuff like that. If the humans are going to start attacking him. And when they don't, he's always like, okay, I'm out. Peace. And he just,
I sincerely doubt that.
He just pieces out and goes back to Monster Island and, makes some popcorn and watches Netflix or whatever.
Okay.
And King Caesar goes back into his hibernation until the next time he's needed by the people of Japan.
Which hasn't happened yet.
Not as far as I know,
that
no.
I know of, yeah.
I don't even think he was in Final Wars. I might be wrong
I don't know.
about
We'll
that.
have to look and see.
I might be wrong. If he was in Final Wars, it was one of those blink and you miss it kind of deals. And the humans celebrate, the monsters go back to where they belong, and that's the end of the film.
The film was released in Japan on March 21st, 1974. It did make more money than the last film, Godzilla vs. Megalon, which was not a hit. But it still didn't do that well, but it did spawn a direct sequel, which we'll get to tomorrow. It also welcomed back 3 series veterans in various roles. Akihiko Hirata, who played Dr. Sarazawa way back in the first movie. Hiroshi Koizumi, who was the star of Godzilla Raids Again, and the always reliable Kenji Sahara, who had done a number of these films. Of those 3 men, only Sahara is still with us. He's 86 years old, retired in Japan. So everybody was glad to see these veterans of the Godzilla series back on the big screen. But a lot of people within the Godzilla community, meaning inside of Toho, were not terribly impressed with this film, but they still greenlit the next film. Mm-hmm.
Because it made money.
It made a little money, but not nearly as much as they had before, back in the day, when they were really popular and Godzilla was turning into a second version of Gamera for the kids in the country.
Yeah. Don't do it again.
Yeah. Tomorrow we will head to the sequel for this film.
Real quick, I did do some checking. King Caesar actually does appear in the next film, but it's a mistake.
Oh.
And he also does appear in Final Wars, but for the life of me, I cannot remember where.
Right. The next film is the final series of the Showa Godzilla series. As we said, it is the direct sequel to this film, and we will talk about Terror of Mechagodzilla from 1975 tomorrow.
Yep.
Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Okay, so don't forget to be here all month long, 31 days of Godzilla with all the great stuff we're bringing you this month, and we hope you enjoyed it. Until then, for the Big G, Tokyo Town StompDown, I'm TC Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
Stick around with us. We got plenty more where these came from.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown from Subject Cinema, Kaiju Corner at eCinemaOne.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNRNetworks.